Hello and welcome to the MRO Show presented by Chadwell Supply. I'm your host, Matthew Trotter, Director of Education. Chadwell Supply is 100% dedicated to the multifamily industry. Your order is on our truck delivered the next day. Learn more at chadwellsupply.com. Today we are in Philadelphia at the Apartmentalize 2024, and it is the NAA conference. It's a huge conference. We're having a lot of fun here at our booth at 1801, and with us we have Jason Zerbe and David Williams. David Williams is the president of Entryway, and Jason is executive director here in the Philadelphia area. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. It's great to be with you, Matt.
Thanks for having us.
Fantastic. It's so great to meet you guys. Really is. We've actually gotten to work and partner with Entryway, but for all of our listeners out there, David, would you tell us who Entryway is and the heart behind it?
Absolutely. You know, I think any of us, we go into any major cities and we see the issue of homelessness, and it just kind of breaks our hearts. What we do at Entryway is actually work with a segment of the homeless population that what we term are situationally homeless. It actually makes up the greater part, but the most visible are those that are chronically homeless, those that are dealing with mental illness and addiction. But the majority of the people that have housing instability are folks that have lost a job, they've had a health crisis, maybe a domestic situation. A lot of people are one paycheck away from life kind of going sideways, and they can end up living out of their car, couch surfing with family or friends, living in a shelter, but they need a second chance. And that's what we do. We work in conjunction with the multifamily industry because that's an industry that has a huge shortage, especially in entry-level jobs. So maintenance is the big one, of course, but groundskeeping, leasing, concierge, and we upskill them through great partnerships with folks like Chadwell and upskill them so that they understand what this industry is all about and what the needs are, and to help them get a job. With that job, they're also able to get housing with a discount, so they're able to live on site so that transportation is less of an issue. And that's what we do. And so we're in 12 markets across the country, and it's a relatively new concept, but we've really been embraced by the multifamily industry, again, because they have a labor shortage, and they're looking for talent wherever they can find it. And we're identifying people that are motivated. They just need a second chance.
I don't think I've ever actually conceptualized that in my minds. Like, I hear the phrasing, we're trying to give second chances. We're trying to give homeless second chances. But the way you described it, the two categories, explain those categories again. You had the terminal.
Well, the chronic.
The chronic.
So the folks that have been, they've been homeless for a long time.
They've been homeless a while, yep.
And we have got issues with mental illness and addiction. And that it's a really tough group to work with because some of them just, for whatever reason, don't want to.
So much more dependent on other things and other things in their lives.
But there's this other group that, you know, they've just had an unfortunate situation occur, but they want to work. They need a second chance. And frankly, you know, one of the amazing things that I've experienced are people that are now in multifamily in more senior roles. And when I ask the question, how did you get into multifamily? It's like, well, you know, actually, I got pregnant in high school, so I had to drop out. So I'm a high school dropout, but I answered a Craigslist ad for a leasing agent, and I worked hard. I wanted to provide for my baby, my child, and I worked at it. And now she's, you know, a C-suite in a management company, earning, you know, six figures.
Truly is like the multifamily, the industry. I can tell you 100, if not 1,000 stories of individuals I meet. I'm the director of education. I go out and train individuals and try to help them to get their job better, get them their EPA licenses, their CPO licenses, all those things, the KMT licenses, all they need to do their job better. But I asked them, where did you start at? When did you start doing this? They said groundskeeper, porter. I showed up and I was picking up trash. I was just needed a job and it happened to be posted. I walked through and they said, hey, you're a warm body, literally. Can you go and do this with me? Can you help me with the labor side of this? And that's where their career started. And the one paycheck away, I've been there. I know that 80% of America is there right now. There's no savings. There's nothing behind them. That is a larger market. I'm sure people listening right now have got 5 people in their minds thinking they are there. And what do they need? Where can they get a start? That is fantastic. That's the focus group that you're looking at, because sometimes we'll, not that it's wrong to dig in deeper to those that are homeless, like really in deep, but those that just need that break, just need that help. There's so many more of that, and the multifamily is definitely in that labor shortage. Jason, you're in Philadelphia. You're here in the area, right? This is your hometown. So, what does it look like? Can you speak a little bit about that labor shortage? What the numbers look like?
Yeah, so we did some research this week before we came, and right here within 25-mile radius of where we are right now today, there was a need for 131 maintenance technicians, job postings. So
Just within that mile radius.
25-mile radius here of Center City, Philadelphia, a need for 131 maintenance professionals. So, we want to help the industry. We want the industry to do business for good, right? We can help solve this labor shortage, not 100%, but if we could just put a dent in it with our vulnerable population and employing the men and women coming from the Entryway program, we can upskill them. They can earn and learn rapid immediate income, secure full-time employment, and secure housing. Everyone can win. The management companies, the participants, the suppliers, everyone.
100%. That's a little actually surprising to me. Like, if you would have said that, because I know many people, it's like, I'm just trying to find a good job. I'm trying to get there. I can't get these jobs. I'm not qualified yet. So in that, what does it take to qualify somebody to be in the program, but then also to get them from point A to point Z?
Yeah. So why don't I start, Jason? You can jump in. So the great thing is that people can literally apply. Now, most of the time with Entryway, we partner with 2 kinds of organizations. One would be social service organizations that have a workforce development component. So it might be a Goodwill Industries, a Salvation Army, Family Promise, just a lot of organizations out there that they want to put people to work. And so that's the one group. The other would be the technical schools and the community colleges and folks like that. And actually, it would be the Chadwells of the world that you are in the business of training. And so, that's who we initially will partner with, because a lot of times those groups will come along and say, I got this guy who's doing this course and he's living out of his car. He's trying to get HVAC certification, or he's trying to, whatever he's trying to do. But we know that they have unstable housing, and they're just trying to do what they can to kind of get by. So people can apply. Of course, the one thing with the multifamily industry is, we do a background check to just see about that, because they're also going to be residents as well as employees.
Correct.
Jason alluded to it. There's some online learning. We'll partner with Chadwell and others to upskill them. We'll work on their resume. We'll work on their interviewing skills, because they have to compete against every other recruiting efforts that these companies have. So nothing's being given to these folks. The only thing they're being given is an opportunity, but they have to compete and they have to win that interview. But if they do, then they have potentially a great future ahead of them.
Yeah, I would just add, it's all about the opportunity, providing the opportunity. These are individuals who traditionally are not having doors open for them. So we're trying to provide an opportunity and a place for them to go earn honor, dignity, respect, along with the opportunity to train and learn and break into this great industry that has helped all of us. Let's help a lot more people. Let's solve a little bit of a problem in the industry, the labor shortage, and let's solve some homeless issues too, and employment issues. So I think everybody can win, and it's just super, super important for the opportunity. This creates we talk to so many industry partners out there. They tell us all the time, send us a great person, and we'll help guide them, mentor them, and train them. And we assign mentors along the way, and they can turn them into a great maintenance professional, a great leasing professional that can become not only a great resident at their property, but a great member of their team.
Absolutely. I think that's something that is, some of us will take that for granted. I know I will, but when I was first coming in, didn't know everything, trying to find a new job, trying to get into a trade. I'm trying to get into HVAC. I didn't know the direction I was going to do after high school. I was either going to be a farmer or who knows what, and I'm a terrible farmer. Just set the record straight right there. Now the tractors drive themselves, and that is way, way easier, but that's not the case. So I had to find a trade, had to find something else to do. It started with education, started with learning, and then after that, it started with getting a chance, getting an opportunity. Somebody saying, you don't interview so well, you're really young, and you use all the wrong words. But there's something about you. You've got gumption. You've got drive. I can see there's a desire in your eye. I can see that there's something there. And helping all those that are Entryway to just get that opportunity, because they're not competing for lower salaries here. They're competing for industry wage.
Right.
They're competing against the person that has the resume. They're walking in, and we want to make sure that they have the confidence, and the best way to have confidence is to know that somebody supports you.
That's exactly right.
And the first thing, the long-term benefit of that first opportunity that someone gave you is your loyalty, which is going to create retention, right? We hear the word retention all the time.
Absolutely.
In talent acquisition and training.
Yes.
You know, the loyalty to that organization.
Yep.
And, oh, by the way, you live at that property with that company, you know, it just creates a great retention model.
That is one thing. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is an industry occurrence in multifamily, the revolving door.
Right.
A lot of it has to do with lack of loyalty to the employer. And then there's also training and how everybody's treated, and the mutual, you know, the synergy, them coming together and valuing the employee valuing the property. And when you start off with that initial trust and that loyalty, you see employees that are 15, 20, 25-year employees that start here and they just climb through the ranks. And when you work with somebody like that, it just elevates your entire group. It brings a whole nother level to camaraderie, to, hey, this is a great day today because we have a roof over our head, we got food in the fridge, and we're here to put our hands to some labor and do some work. I mean, that all around is just, that gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because that is something that really, really hits me, really hits my heart for sure. Oh my goodness. So all right, so I have some other questions for you. And these questions are more of like the logistical questions. Words are hard today. Logistical questions of Entryway. You have somebody, they qualify. They have to go online. Is that correct?
They do. You can go right to our website, entrywaytalent.com or .org.
What if they don't have a computer?
Most folks will have a phone, and they could go online with a phone.
What if they don't have an email address?
That's a good question. I would have text.
We can get them an email address. We also have in-person career fairs at
Helps you
local
walk in.
community organizations that are doing great social work in the communities too. And sometimes we partner with vendor partners or industry partners, management companies, and do career fairs there too. So there is some in-person opportunities.
So there's in-person opportunities, online opportunities for sure. That's probably the first source to go through.
Right.
I do know that, yes, you do get email addresses if they don't have them. You help get them signed up and get them registered. Computer skills are a thing. You guys help with the soft skills as well.
Right. And the one thing I would say also is that I had mentioned earlier that we partner with the Goodwills and Salvation Armies and Family Promise, or those organizations. Very often they're the ones that are kind of the almost like the first vetting of our candidates, because they're working with them And a lot of times they're the ones that are saying, when you were in the Army, you actually did some maintenance, and we partner with this program called Entryway. Do you think you would have an interest in, talking with them about their program, because their program involves training, employment, and housing. And so very often we'll get a communication from the case manager or the program director saying, "Hey, I've got a candidate that I think would be a good fit. Um, we're going to send him your way." And so, so there are a lot of different ways in which somebody can find out about our program and see if it's something that they're interested in.
So that's how an individual out there who's looking to get back on their feet, they can find their way to Entryway. How does an employer pull workers from Entryway? How do they get in touch with you to say, "Hey, I'm interested in the program. I'm looking to fill some spots. I've got 130 in 25-mile radius that I want to take a chance because I believe in what you're saying. I believe in what you're doing." How do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, and that's a big reason why we're here in Philadelphia at the National Apartment Association annual conference, because everybody's here. And so we've had some awesome meetings with some prospective management companies, with some that, we've worked with or we've had conversations with. We had a great meeting just a little bit ago with a very big management company. Conversation started 2 years ago. And so we now have an agreement. We had our first placement. And so really the conversation was, all right, now so we've done some of the hard stuff, because again, you have to build momentum within a company.
Right.
You got regional managers, you got property managers, you got the CFO who's looking at, numbers and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes it just takes some momentum to get everybody rowing in the same direction.
It takes a few wins there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it takes a few candidates, a few wins that really get out there and they say, "You know what, this is what we need." And every state's going to be different, right?
Correct.
You're in so many different locations that it's going to be different, and the labor shortage is going to be different, and what the needs are and how the work is, it's all going to be a little bit different.
Right. That's right.
So it definitely lends itself to having to build those relationships, and it's clear you have to do the legwork. Right? You have to get out here. You have to come to NAA, and you have to shake hands and meet people and say who you are. Well, for Chadwell Supply, we are absolutely proud and happy to partner with you. 100%.
Important partnership.
In every area that we have definitely committed to anybody from Entryway. If they want to attend any class we have out in the field, then that's automatically sponsored by Chadwell. So as long as they can get to that where it is from a Chadwell CU class, then they have an invitation to get there. And we're also going to be partnering with you in Orlando for some bigger classes, for some individuals. And if there's a way that we can connect with our customers to somehow have just a meeting for you, I know that we'd be happy to do that as well.
Well, I'll tell you, Matt, the other thing that you've done that was phenomenal is a lot of times, if you're in a shelter or wherever and you're new to the industry, you don't have the tools that you need to be able to do it. And one of the awesome things that Chadwell Supply supplied us with were tools for our candidates in every market that we're in. And it's a huge deal. And it's not just that they have tools, but we have pictures of, these guys when they were getting their toolkits.
Every time I see one come across, I'm like, my gosh, look at the look on his face.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's a sense of pride, sense of ownership. I belong. Yeah. And I'll tell you, building confidence is one of the most important things that we're in the business of doing. And so you guys play a major part in making that happen.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We do have a program where sometimes we fly under the radar, and we're okay with that. But we definitely do have a program where we do have a full tool bag from every tool they have to a meter, everything they would need to go out and do hands-on tools and service, because that bag, it's right. There's a value to it. There's, $300-$400 worth of tools, but that over a lifetime is a career. Right. That shows up to be $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in that person a year. That's what that bag means. And handing it over to them, they realize they're backed not just by you, but they're backed by other friends out there in the industry. So,
well, Matt, we want to change that under the radar thing because honestly, when people hear about things like that,
Yeah.
that can inspire other companies and other individuals to also get involved. So we need to do a better job of making sure
Maybe
people
it's
know
time.
about
Maybe
that.
it's time to let people know.
Yeah, I think one thing we talk about within the industry and with the population that we're trying to employ is removing the barriers to entry.
Yeah.
And not having the proper tools is an enormous barrier to entry. Not having the access to training to gain knowledge and certifications is a barrier. And Chadwell Supply's partnership with Entryway in the multifamily industry is helping remove those barriers to provide opportunity. So again, thank you.
It's our pleasure. It truly is. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Any final thoughts you want to say? We got a large listening base to all our customers. Go ahead.
Yeah, if anything that we've said kind of resonates with anybody that's been listening, we would love to hear from you. Again, our website, entrywaytalent.org. D Williams at entrywaytalent.org if anybody wants to send an email. But we'd love to have a conversation. And that is if somebody wants to volunteer, if somebody wants to make a financial donation, if somebody wants to be an industry partner, if you're from the vendor community and you want to be involved. I mean, multifamily industry is a $3 trillion industry. It's a huge industry, and we're part of it, and we want to be a bigger part of it. And we need people to help make that happen.
Absolutely. We'll have links to you guys, in this podcast. So
Awesome.
easily to get a hold of you, but going through your website and connecting with you is number one that we want to see. So thank you so much. Appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you, Matt.
Great meeting
Thank you, man.
Trying to
I'm
do a
glad
lot more.
you stuck with this instead of farming.
So true. Well, that's it here for the MRO show. We thank you all so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of the conference.